To stay up to date with me on everything, make sure you guys follow me on Twitter. It's at JoshWRB, and hit that subscribe button and notification bell if you're new, because that's the best way to stay up to date with all my videos right when they come out. Hey guys, how's it going? It's Josh, WRB here, bringing you a brand new review today. So today I'm talking to you guys about Annabelle Creation. So it's weird. The first Annabelle I anticipated so much because I'm a huge James Wan fan. Love his style of horror movies. And the first Annabelle came out and it was terrible. It was a piece of crap. So when they said they were making another Annabelle, I wasn't stoked to see it at all. But then I started looking more into it, and so I found out who was directing it, and that is David F. Sandberg. He, if you don't know who he is, he did a short film online called Lights Out that went viral. I remember seeing this on Facebook when it first came out, and I got super creeped out by it. And I don't get creeped out by much because I love horror, and I'm just excited that he came from like pretty much the same style of background that I'm doing, like the DIY filmmaker background. I make all my own film, like I own all the gear and everything to make my own film. So just hearing that he came from that and now he's making these big budget or bigger budget horror movies is really cool to see. And like high-fiving James Wan in his like huge horror franchise that he has going now with The Conjuring and all its like spin-off movies that it has, it's really cool. So he did obviously Lights Out, the feature-length film after the short, and now Annabelle Creation. And I heard that he's in line to direct Shazam or something for Warner Brothers in DC. So that's pretty crazy now as well. So let's get to Annabelle. Now that you know who did it, this movie is before. So like we first meet Annabelle in The Conjuring, then the second movie goes back, and then we meet Annabelle whatever. But this movie goes back even further, and it's really funny because the way the storyline goes, it actually makes the first Annabelle movie, which is in the future to this, way better in like, well, it just makes it a better movie because it's now attached to this good movie, and they blend them so perfectly in together. So if you've seen the first one, you'll see a scene from the beginning of the first film at the end of this, and it's really cool how they like just mesh the stories in so well. This movie caught me off guard. I didn't think it was going to be this good. So what David F. Sandberg does so well is he draws out the tension before a scare. James Wan also does that very well, but I think James Wan does that a little more tastefully. Like James Wan's almost like a maestro when it comes to horror. He knows all the right timing to make it like an elegant, I don't know, his movies just, they have some sort of like artsy, really elegant feel to them, whereas David F. Sandberg has the really gritty, I don't know, like it still had the like bigger budget feel, but I felt like the only downfall I saw to this movie is there was a few scenes that it felt like they didn't get enough coverage of it. So like there's like a part where she's like going up the stairs or something, and then it like randomly goes to like a first person view of like nothing, and I was like, well, why was that in there? Like that didn't make any sense. And there's a few scenes that I felt like that. I was like, well, why didn't they just get like a wide of them going there instead of it being, it was just a little, it felt like there was some parts missing, and they kind of chunked it together just the tiniest bit in little sections. Like other than that, this movie is amazing. All the scares are so good. Like I was sitting next to this girl who was not happy to be there whatsoever. She had her hoodie on and like tied it tight and was just fidgeting around like crazy and like, oh my God, oh, this is crazy. Like the whole time I was just laughing because it was so ridiculous what was going on beside me, and the effect that this movie was literally having on like half of the audience. I went on a Tuesday, so I had the like, it was a more packed crowd, which was kind of cool to see a movie like that. I don't usually like seeing like movies that I want to review with an audience like that, if that makes sense. I want to see it with a more quiet audience, if that makes sense, because I'm trying to critique it, so I watch movies a little differently than when you just go and get lost in a movie. I'm looking at all the different aspects of a movie differently, and it kind of sucks because I don't watch movies like you do anymore, and it's I don't know. It's different, but it's fun for me. It wouldn't be fun for you to watch a movie like I do. So with that being said, with the girl beside me, the tension really was that good. Like I live for this stuff. So I like lean forward, get closer, and like get right into it. Like, yeah, let's see what's gonna happen. And when everyone else is like and hiding behind their, I'm usually leaning forward. And I had to pretty much lean forward maybe a little earlier than the halfway part, all the way to the end for the most part. It's just tension after tension after tension. So every scene, there's just some sort of tension building. Like the score comes up and then drops to silence. And then like it does it a lot, but every different sequence and different setup or gag was set up so well. And that's why it felt a lot more like a James Wan movie or like a James Wan spin-off type movie more than the first Annabelle one did, because the bad characters in this, like the creatures and the scarecrow, and just like the way they looked in this looked a lot creepier and a lot more like what James Wan might have in one of his films, if that makes sense. But I just loved the whole look and feel of this movie. The main two girls in this movie were so good. Like, so there's a lot of kid actors in this movie, and some of the actors aren't as good as the other actors, but you can really tell that, I don't know, he found the right cast for this movie. It surprised me. I didn't think I was going to like it as much as I did. And I think the reason why I liked it so much is because the first act and a big chunk of the second act is really devoted to character development and really getting to know these characters and just liking them as like a human being and like feeling sympathetic for them for being orphans and wanting to be adopted together and all that stuff. They pull on your heartstrings in all the right ways for you to actually care about these characters potentially dying in the movie. And that if you do that well, like a lot of movies are not doing these days, then it's going to be a good movie. That's all I got to say. This movie was really freaking good. If you haven't, go and check it out and stay to the end after the credits. They're doing the whole thing because this is like the Wan's cinematic universe, so it's like his Marvel thing. So there's two little things at the end of the credits. So just stay to the end if you want. It's just this little, yeah, I'm not going to tell you what it is, spoilers or anything, but yeah, go and check it out. Stay to the end of the credits if you don't. This movie is getting 5.5 out of 6 from me. Totally worth seeing, guys. That's all I got for today. I hope you enjoyed this review. If you did, don't forget to hit that like button. Thank you guys so much for stopping by. We'll see you next time. Don't forget to click this video you see on the screen. You might actually like it. Hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. Have a nice day, guys.